So the other day I talked about it, and Greg were also just talking about it. Italian bond yields. The 2-year yield went from 0.923%, if you look over there, 0.9% on May 28th to 2.6% on May 29th. That is huge. And for reference, there's a 1-month chart, a 3-month chart, a 6-month chart, a 1-year chart. This move is big and fast. At the same time, the yield in the US went down. So bonds are kind of counterintuitive. I'm going to leave the mechanics out of this video, but just know that if the yield goes up, that means the price is going down. So the yield of Italian bonds went way up in a day. That means the price went way down. A bunch of people sold Italian debt and they bought American debt. So super long story, super short. At the end of World War II, the US had all the gold, so we did the Bretton Woods and we pegged the US dollar to gold and then pegged all other fiat currencies to the USD. So obviously the euro didn't exist at the end of World War II, but there's all these different Eurozone currencies that then later combined to make the euro. So all those, the yen, the pound, ruble, won, all this crap, all these fiat currencies were pegged kind of sort of to each other in this mess or directly to the USD, but all pegged to the USD and then to gold through that. In 1971, we temporarily unpegged the dollar from gold, which is still the case. The dollar is not connected to gold anymore. So now all these fiat currencies are pegged to each other and they're just kind of floating around out there, pegged to each other. And if the dollar goes up, that doesn't mean it's going up in terms of real world stuff. It means it's going up in terms of other currencies, which could mean the US dollar is going down. These ones are just going down faster, so the US dollar is going up relative to them. So these are all fiat currencies. By definition, a fiat currency is just debt. Since 1971, the US dollar has not been a claim on anything. So even if these are claims on the USD, it's debt that are claims on debt. There's nothing. If they're fiat currencies, they're just debt. So Cliff High talks about this transition happening by being this debt flowing through the USD into Bitcoin. So of course, none of these moves are like direct. It's not like necessarily one individual didn't sell their bolivars for this currency to sell it for that currency to sell it for yen to sell it for USD to sell it for Bitcoin, right? Talking about big picture, all of the capital combined, where the net slosh is going, right? So yesterday, or a couple days ago rather, we saw this big move out of Italian debt and into American debt. So money going this way. And big picture, if you look at 7, 8, 9 years, it's super obvious how true it's been that money's coming out of fiat currencies and going into cryptocurrencies. So the USD is the world's reserve currency. It's the one that people trust the most. When stuff starts getting crazy, do you trust the Italian government to be able to print debt and produce stuff and pay their bills? Or do you trust the American government more? Yesterday, the market said the American government. I suspect the market will continue to say the American government. We're the world's reserve currency. We're the biggest one. I think we'll be kind of one of the last ones. And the yuan and are trying to make their case for being it, and they will have some part of it, I'm sure. But big picture, the bolivar, the Venezuelan currency, has completely hyperinflated. It's gone all the way to shit. So this kind of most fringe one, capital came out of that. Its ability to make claims on real stuff, people stopped trusting it. People didn't want this fiat money anymore. It doesn't buy anything anymore. The value has gone out of it and flowed into other currencies. And so it's this value transfer flowing out of these fiat currencies, kind of through the US dollar and then into cryptos. So we saw that yesterday directly with the yen, with the Italian bonds. People are coming out of the euro. This is a more fringe currency than the USD. The Italian government is less trustworthy than the US government. So capital is coming out of that into the USD.
Until we start to see bond yields rise here, where the Fed can't control it, stocks here in the United States will continue to move higher.
So Gregory Manarino just said that as long as they can keep these bond yields low, money will continue to go into the stock market. as long as they can keep this system alive, as long as people are still buying the bonds, because if the yield is low, that means the price is high. So as long as people are still buying the bonds, as long as more debt is still being created, then the system will appear alive, right? The stock prices will continue to go up. So this reply, I think, nails it. This is what I think is happening. Blue Ridge Mountains 10 said, "Seems to me that if you can print money, then you can buy bonds till the cows come home." If you can print money, then you can buy bonds till the cows come home. So Gregory Mannarino is saying that this system will continue to work. There won't be a credit crunch. There won't be banks failing and shutting down and you not being able to get your cash out. None of that will happen as long as the bond yields rather, stay low. So as long as people are buying US debt, then it will continue to appear as it has appeared. It doesn't mean it's working, right? In a lot of senses, it's not working. But prices will keep going up, and it still kind of looks like it's functioning. Ever since 2008, a lot of people say, and by a lot of definitions, the system died back then. But it continues to just kind of have this appearance of working. You can still use US dollars. You can still buy stocks. The stock prices are up, housing prices are up, so the economy is good, right? Stock prices are up, housing prices are up, inflation's up. That means the economy's good, right? It is that debt is still being bought. So the guy in the comments said, if you can print money, then you can buy bonds till the cows come home. If you can just keep making more and more and more and more and more and more USD, then you can keep buying bonds. And this is all that's happening anymore. The Federal Reserve is buying the bonds. They're printing money to buy the bonds. So it's just a circle of debt creation, and exponentially more, because the more bonds are out there, the more you have to pay every month in prices, so the more money you have to print every month to buy the bonds. And then next month it's this, and next month it's that, and next month it's that. Exponentially more debt being created, but it continues to function within itself. If you don't peg it to anything, then it works. It's all just relative to each other, and they're all doing this, so it keeps working, kind of. But if you have something to compare it to that's stable, all of a sudden, the prices of this go up crazy fast. Like, shockingly fast. Like, kids in their basements are multimillionaires pretty much overnight. Where have we seen that happen? So in 2008, what happened is a stupid amount of money, I think it was $500 million, came out of the system in a morning, a couple of hours, something like that. So a ton of money came out of this system and changed the ratio of debt to currency in the system by so much that nobody trusted anybody and everything kind of locked down. The way they fixed that, quote unquote, fixed it, was to create a bunch of money, was to print a whole bunch of money. So a massive debt creation gave enough liquidity in the system for this to continue kind of semi-functioning, right? I think that that's exactly what will continue to happen. No matter how much money comes out of here and goes into Bitcoin, I don't think they're going to give up. I don't think they're going to, at some point, say, all right, this whole system is dead, just let it die. Let everything go into cryptos. I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll keep this running as long as they can. All they have to do to keep that running as long as they can is just keep printing money. Just keep printing enough money so that it kind of plops along. No matter how fast money's coming out of here and going into here, they're creating enough constantly over here to where it kind of continues to semi-function. Semi-functioning, meaning the prices of stocks in terms of US dollars are going up and inflation's going up, and the banks continue to have enough money to be able to play their crazy games. But the bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger scale that gets, obviously the more debt needs to be created. The more debt is being created, the more of these US dollars are flying around, the more the prices of everything in terms of US dollars go up. If you're playing Monopoly and there's $10,000 cash, period, in the whole game, well, the price of every property is like, whatever that is, $200-300. if you're playing with $30 million, well, the price of every property is like whatever that is, $800,000. The difference isn't in the monopoly board and how much production is happening. The difference is how many paper dollars are flying around out there. So I think they will keep this thing alive, meaning that they don't let too much money come out of the system relative to how much they're creating. And if a whole bunch of money is flowing out of here into cryptos, then what they have to do is just keep creating money. And I think that's exactly what we'll see. Episodic hyperinflation. Some event happens that causes a whole bunch to fly over here. And so they have to create a whole bunch. And it just got watered down pretty significantly. And then some event happens that causes a whole bunch to come over here, and they have to create a whole bunch. And it just got, the US dollar still exists. It will probably be in crypto form by this point. In crypto form, it depends on how you define crypto. But it will probably be digital US dollar in the same wallet as your cryptos. So it kind of functions together, and you can kind of get tricked by this and think you're staying safe with the US dollar, when in reality, we're going through episodic hyperinflation, and the dollars in your wallet, the price of Bitcoin in terms of dollars will continue to go up. So if you're holding Bitcoin, you continue to gain in purchasing power, and if you're holding dollars, you continue to lose purchasing power. So it's a sneaky crash. I don't think it will be a crash in what we normally think of as crash, where the prices of everything go down. It will be a crash in terms of the prices of everything go up, where you get paid a whole lot more in dollars, but your ability to buy food with that, even if you get 10 times as many dollars from work, but food costs 20 times as much, well, now you can only buy half as much food as you used to be able to buy, even though you got a 10 times raise. I think that's the kind of crash we're going to see. And that doesn't involve the banks going down. The banks going down is the kind of crash where the prices of everything get readjusted lower. I don't think we'll see this massive readjustment lower in prices. I think we'll see prices just continue to go up and 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 up, because they're just printing more and more and more and more and more US dollars. And the price of Bitcoin in that scenario would probably go up and up and up and up a hell of a lot more than the prices of food. So your ability to buy stuff, if you're holding Bitcoin, goes up. If you're holding US dollars, your ability to buy stuff continues to go down. The same trend that we've been watching now for 8 years, 9 years. I want to try and be more clear too on what I mean by the banks going down. I mean, whenever it was Reagan, I think, came into office, shut down all the banks, like bank holiday for several days, you can't get your money out, that kind of thing. That's what I mean, where the whole system shuts down and fixes itself. I don't think that's what we'll see. I think it's going to die slowly. It's going to die slowly by printing more and more and more and more money. And there will be, obviously in that, banks going down. Just not all of them. I don't think the banking system will go down. I think the banking system will wither away, which means that banks go down kind of individually, which means that Lehman Brothers just kind of gets hacked off and thrown away. Lehman Brothers, they're the scapegoat. They're the problem. We just hacked them off and now we're good to go. And then Deutsche Bank gets hacked off. And now we're good to go. And then, I don't know, Credit Suisse gets hacked off. And then Citibank gets hacked off. It's like some big event. The banking system tells you, oh, it's not the banking system's problem, it's this bank's problem. Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank did all this bad shit. As soon as we make Deutsche Bank fail, we'll cover your deposits. We'll have you handled. We'll just print some more money. But we'll cover your deposits and you'll be safe. Deutsche Bank was the problem. Don't worry about it. And then 3 or 4 or 5 months later, some other big bank or 2 banks will come up and they'll be the scape. Like all these new problems will crop back up and it'll be, people know about it and they'll have to find some other bank to blame and then that bank goes down. And then, oh, we're good. And then stuff's still not right. Oh, it's this bank. Oh, we're good. Stuff's still not right. It's this bank this time. And just episodic hyperinflation. Roosevelt, sorry, not Reagan, Roosevelt.